Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Call this special call meeting to order.
So one. Everybody heads for a moment.
Silent prayer.
Thank you.
Then we have the roll call.
Alderman Chapman. Alderman Bradford. Alderman Wilson.
Present.
Alderman Rose.
Present.
Alderman
Present.
Here.
And we have.
Is there no one call?
Everyone's on the call.
Gentlemen, you have an agenda for
And we have 4 items
agenda, and I would add
for the discussion today. We have our evaluator here from Jackson today, our fire department evaluator. Richard, and he's here to
back him if you would, and I think Richard will
stand over
to give us some kind of an overview,
a quick overview.
of his evaluation up to this point. He hasn't got his report completed.
But we asked him to do that. We'll let him do that up
Top, so
them up.
so those are the 3 items. Alderman Bradford asked if I would add a discussion item
On the agenda as well, so I'd like to add that.
but let that come at the end of number 4, after number 4. That part of the discussion. First part of the discussion is simply about the fire department and the department structure. So with that addition, can I get a motion to accept?
Move.
Motion by Alderman, second by Alderman. Who's that?
Bradford.
On the favor,
Say aye.
aye.
Ayes have it. If you don't mind, gentlemen, we'll start with, Richard, would you come please and just give us an overview of kind of where you are, what you saw this last few days you was at the fire department? Is this kind of an annual, is it an annual thing or what brought you here?
This is our review of the city's fire defenses through water, fire, and dispatch ability. We come around once every 5 years. Last time we were here was 2019. Looked at 2024, but due to turnovers in the administrative position at the fire chief's office, we were asked to put it off several times, and this came to us that it was 2 years past the due date. Came and looked down, and we have things looking. And there are some efficiencies that we have found through the fire, water, and dispatch that we looked at, and we're going to address those in a letter.
Is anybody, I wanted to also just give you a chance to ask him any questions since he's here. We don't get this opportunity too often. So, he's here looking at the whole department. So you don't want to have any questions? As he said, he's going to put his finding on in writing, of course, but I want to give you the opportunity now since he's here to ask questions if you have any questions.
Sir, is there anything that you could share with us informally?
Informally, this is not an overnight process. This has been occurring for years. Obviously, the mayor I called earlier about some conditions. Very issues aside, does affect the number of personnel that's on shift every day. The number of calls over the last 7 years have increased on the fire department's part with a lower staffing. They're having to attend to more calls with fewer personnel, which means less time for training, which also means less time for hydrant maintenance and testing. So all of this kind of comes together to affect the overall rating of the city's fire defenses.
Another question?
So we haven't had any formal
There's nothing full at this moment. I haven't completed the entirety of the survey. It usually takes me about 5 days to complete everything on the ground and then, several days back in the office.
That includes what, hose testing,
Hose testing, pump testing, general maintenance of the truck.
flow tests?
Flow testing the fire hydrants. I did not conduct any flow testing with fire hydrants this go around. Just didn't see any need to be conducted because with the lack of maintenance over the last several years, the lack of ability of personnel to perform such maintenance, it could have been a more adverse effect. Just going to let that sit how it goes. I'll produce a letter, give the department some time to respond to that letter, how we can move forward at this point. And we'll work with the city and the interim chief.
So overall, if we don't have manpower,
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's majorly our deficiency is.
That is the major deficiency.
All right, so dealing with where we are in budgets and where we are in being able to hire, to put up to major staffing, where does that really leave us? I mean, other than some major deficiencies, and that's going to be the major thing.
Be a major thing. There are ways to make up for it, looking at it strategically from where the staffing is placed, what stations the staffing is in, what apparatus the staffing is on. There's 751 variables in the grader.
Right.
And we can't just tack down one and say, this is what it's going to be. This is what it's going to change because something else could affect that variable.
All right, so many years, okay.
I'm interrupt just a little bit. On our special call meeting, we have these limited topics. We have to keep it within those topics. So I'm just letting y'all know that since we didn't publish for a full discussion on his report, it may be best to get the report and maybe invite him back. I don't want y'all to get too far out of the special call.
And can you all please use your mics? That you're sounding a little bit muffled, so if you can please use it so they can contribute.
And we'll come to the mayor's office.
Richard, you'll be willing to come back once with the report. You can come back at a time and have a more detailed discussion. But once we get that report.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Richard.
Okay. At this point,
I want to give our chief an opportunity to talk about, you all got his package, the information.
he's put together along with HR. And I want to give him an opportunity to share with you his thinking about where we are.
What our needs are.
And part of this, I'm sure, would be a part of the report
That Richard will put together, but
not knowing that Rich was coming in this timing of all of this. It's just a part of our process, what we're doing anyway.
and Richard just happened to come during this time
But I have one of our financial consultants.
on the phone as well, so that she can hear and be a part of this discussion.
DB,
So Chief, would you come up and
make your presentation the way you see fit.
Yes, Mayor. First of all, I want to say good evening, everybody, and thank you all so much for allowing me to come to this meeting and also present. And thank you for the opportunity to serve as your fire chief and first manager for almost 2 years. So this is a tough meeting, comfortable being on last one. But I want to say I'm grateful and I'm excited for the path firefighters on. And, ever since I've been here, my goal was to continue to make the fire department better and sort of groom the firefighters, the men and women over there where they can serve the community better and more efficiently. One of the things that I've been dealing with since I've been there is trying to maintain retention and keep the morale in a positive place. But since I've been here, about 4 firefighters have moved on to other departments. And on their exit interviews, they made it very clear the reason they're moving on is because there's no pay scale. And they feel that there is not going to be any change when it comes to that. They like you, Chief Davis. I appreciate you and all you're doing, but not really getting any support when it comes to getting a pay scale. Well, I told them just give me some time. That would be just give me some time. I'm working on it. Not only am I working on it, the mayor is working on it. Not only the mayor working on it, the board is working on it. So I would send stuff to the consultants, the financial consultants, and I don't know how much of it make it to you all. You know, I would share it with the mayor, the state pen, and the consultants of the and I was told to make it to the finance committee. But I wanted to come in this time and share a little bit of history. So you have 3 things in front of you. You have a current pay scale. Current window. And I would encourage you to look over the bottom right number of that, where it shows where our financial budget is when it comes to employees. You know, in most entity or municipality, the biggest expense happens to be the employees moving over. You know, you can have maintenance for trucks, you can have maintenance for the building, you can have a lot of things that you are maintaining, but your biggest budget item happen to be making sure your employees have their salaries that consist of all their benefits. So one of the biggest part of any municipality is the fire department. Fire department usually have most of the employees in the police department. So that makes it look like our budget is really, really big. So if you look at the current one, you'll see the numbers over there. So that's what's our benchmark, what we was working from. Didn't have much to work with. I knew that the city was in a tight spot to the budget. So myself and Ms. Barnett tried to work within what we had. So we have 2 firefighter, part-time firefighter positions that we're willing to give up, which will leave us 2 part-time positions that we're currently continuing to use. And the reason we are using the 2 to give up because those firefighters part-time don't work that often. So we was able to say, well, we can do without them to try to get this pay scale in place. Well, the second one that I presented, which is dated March 9th, you will see that one. That one consists of incentive pay based on certifications and so forth. So presenting that one, you know, I was told that that's over $200,000. We can't pay that, you know, that's gonna put our budget in a bad spot. But that's still not happening, you know, the firefighters, that's still not giving them anything. So I went back to the drawing board, and this one that's dated March 23rd is the one that we're giving up these 2 part-time positions. And the inflation was a rate is, you know, they're less than 50,000. Which even though we offer on the 2 part-time firefighters, is somewhere right there at 58 and 62,000. So the 2 part-time positions will satisfy the pay scale that I'm trying to put in place. Because it's no incentive pay, it's no certification pay. The only thing is that you will see in there is, you know, the base pay for pay scale. So when you're a battalion chief, you know that this is the pay for the battalion chief. When you're a lieutenant, this is the pay for the lieutenant. Or when you're a firefighter, this is the pay for the firefighter. One of the things that I found is out of rank pay, like when a person is off or at the time or a promotion spot, it's time to promote, they got to work in that position. Well, it gets frustrating to that firefighter, he or she to be working out of rank for so long. So one thing that is in there is when you're out of rank pay for more than 24 hours, That's the only thing outside of the pay. We have 4 active lieutenants right now that's getting out of rank pay. We have 1 battalion chief that's getting out of rank pay. Okay, we just finished the promotion process where I have a certified list to promote lieutenants and to promote battalion chief. So that's done, and the interim chief can put that on the agenda for the next meeting. The promotion process has been done, so that way we can get these out of rank pays taken care of. They doing the job, they get out of rank pay, they just don't have to be seeing that. So basically, that's what we have. We have 3 options for them. We can leave things like they are right now and continue to lose firefighters. The option 2 was apparently it's inflated the budget too much, where it hurt the city right now. For the third that I'm presenting, that I really believe that we can go with, and that is the 2 part-time positions, and it should satisfy what we need. So that's what I want to present, and I believe the fire department is moving in a good direction right now. I'm excited where we are right now, and to be totally honest with you, I believe that if we continue to stay on the trajectory that we on, the fire department will be better next year than they are this year. And a pay scale will help with that. But if you have any questions.
Okay, any question that you may have from the chief, opportunity to have to just try to get some understanding of where our next move would be.
Chief, I noticed on the new proposed pay scale that a salary for the top spot is not on there.
The one that's required for that.
But call your totals to be trying to see the difference in the totals. They can be what they are. But I take that back. I see you right there. It's not listed the same way.
No. It's easy to read. There's also consideration, my salary won't be there. Of course, it will be interim chief or chief salary. But hopefully that would help also in some way. And I just think that would help out these firefighters.
And how much is the salary for an interim chief?
Well, that's gonna be whatever's, I guess. Whatever those to.
All right, by us eliminating the 2 part-time positions, I guess what we'll still be left with is the void of, and I've always been concerned about during the times of holidays, being that we're so thin, and where would that leave us trying to fill those voids when sick leave and vacations are being used, and having somebody fill in these spots?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we just did this last holiday season.
Right.
And the 2 spots that we have actively working, they worked up. But when you call you're calling and you don't need anybody, those 2 spots continue to work, if that makes any sense. So I saw the 2 spots sustained us for those spots. Because especially the firefighters, they pay now is great to say that come to work and working. When you have sick leave in the FMLA, it gets difficult, as you know. But I guess that's the important thing about that, especially when you You got 5, 6 people, sometimes 8, you know. It's, to be, just to be plain and clear, those 2 spots, we've been able to, I hate to say do without, but we've been able to make it with. We had 4 total.
Okay.
And the 2 that we have that's actually working, that we can count on, that's been sustained. Full-time spots would be amazing, great, but you know, the part-time really been helping out. Very good question. But we went through it and I was really nervous about it because it's Thanksgiving.
Usually that's been traditionally our problems, and running into overtime. To that overtime budget, just trying to make sure that we have enough manpower. And since this has been real concern that we have is manpower issues, that we definitely need to be kind of concerned about where we are in manpower and being able to budget for those things.
And please take into account, this is a temporary fix, because I expect most of it to be better 2 years from now than right now. So once the budget gets better, we get more part-time back again, that's the plan, you know, that's what I expect to happen, you know, but this is a temporary fix since we have went 2 years without using 4 part-timers. We might have been using 2 part-timers. That's been contributing. So hopefully with 3 years or less, we'll be able to add not just part-time, but full-time. That's yes.
Has any concern been given to the current state of inflation, the way things have been going? And I know you probably are not dealing with this directly, but you know, as the current state, things are going up and not going down. And as it relates to the cost of insurance and cost of just plain gas and groceries. Yeah. So, you know, I understand the strain and push for the employee to get more. These costs are steadily rising. So, you know, I don't know where we reach that happy medium of saying where we're going to be 2 years, 3 years from now.
That's all I'm gonna do both. That's why I'm really here tonight, because you know, that I gotta go somewhere where I can pay the groceries, you know, because stuff is steady going up at my house and my home. And just like the city, you know, I'm concerned about the fuel of fire trucks, you know, because it's going up. So that budget is gonna have to be a little bit different. I was talking about this with Chief Baker, you know, really got to budget a little bit more when it comes to fuel for the fire trucks, you know, because diesel is up there now.
Right.
But then I have to come to their kitchen table. They gotta, you know, feed their family. They gotta pay their bills. So that's why I'm advocating for them tonight. You know, I think it's important. That's a very good point. Everything is going up and up and up. And I just want to make sure that the firefighters go experience the same thing. Well, you know, and just to sit where they're at, you know, they're sitting in a spot now where, you know, they feel like, Chief, we've been seeing you in these positions by yourself, doing all these different things. That's not there. And, you know, and they continue to remind me about when PD was able to give up their positions and give it back to the police and a raise, you know, why we didn't get that for us. And I tried to explain it to them. There was different times, you know, that's because everybody had to sort of trim that in their budget. But when they sit at the kitchen table, you know, it makes milk still look a little bit more in their tables. So that's all I'm trying to do, is try to put something in place that can boost their morale, but also say, hey, we feel what you're going through. That's why.
Mayor, Alderman Lennon texted us. He's having some audio difficulty, but he texted a question. May I ask it on his behalf? He asked if the 2 part-time positions to be eliminated are Andrews and Davis, who are currently on our list, because he does not see 2 vacant part-time positions in the budget.
So could you, I guess I can talk to him.
Yeah, he can hear you. He can hear you.
So the two positions, Buzzfeed is one of them, and then the other one is a gentleman that came in from Passenger Stand that we are budgeted for four positions. Okay. He worked at two other fire departments, and Buzzfeed worked for the county, so they haven't been working. So, and what he might be looking at is showing that they're that makes sense, because that's our proposal. But we have a full budget. I wouldn't be up here trying to, smoke screen tonight.
Was there another one, Chief?
No, Mayor.
Any other questions, guys? Well, Chief was here just to give us his opinion about where we are. And more than just an opinion, these are factual situations of where we are, and letting us know what he's recommending. And he's letting us also know the consequences. If we can't come together with at least that third option that recommended. So we all need to look at that third option, or second option, and see which one, we can work with our finance department to try to work these things out to make sure it happens. And of course, he said the consequences that we already know, costs going up, as Alderman suggested. These young men and women are going to be leaving or wherever they can to get funding that they need to take care of their family. So we need to take all that under consideration. If there's no other questions, Chief, thank you so much for that. Our members, I'm sure, will take this under advisement, and we'll have a further discussion about it in the future. We go to the next item on the agenda.
Next item is 2.2, approve the decline of recommendation to appoint an interim fire chief submitted by Mayor Billy E. Knight Sr.
Motion to approve. Well, the interim chief, that interim, direct interim fire chief that I've asked Chief Davidson his recommendation. If anyone else got a recommendation, we'll be glad to hear it. But he's recommending that interim chief be, is he battalion chief now? What is Ecker? Battalion Chief Ecker to be the interim chief. And he gives his reason. Chief, could you just give us a reason for recommending it?
So, a little background. Since I've been here in since June 24, Chief Baker, he's the most senior right now within the department. And I feel is well respected in the department. But beyond all that, he's been working with me, not just on his shift, but day to day, whatever I need. He'd be proud to me, even talking about me. He's been there. But also, of course, civil services, we have to do it from in. But also, I have to be, I don't know what number to come from the outside. But for progression to work within the department, I believe it's very important to start from the inside. And a good way to start is, with him being the interim chief, is somebody that I can work with, somebody that can continue on what we got happening as far as connecting the dots to when it might just simply as maintenance of the truck, the other vendors that we deal with for day-to-day stuff in the fire department to happen. Chief Baker made it very clear that he'll be glad to work with me and glad to do it, and I'll see it too. So that's why I recommend it to you for the betterment of the department.
Well, let's see if any of the board members have any question about Chief Baker that you may answer. Any questions about? And then the other question would be to other board members, if you have other recommendation that you want us to talk about, discuss, then it's just a matter of us voting for the two, if it's another person, or we'll vote on the one. So first of all, anybody have any questions about, that you have any concerns about Chief Baker?
I have a concern, but I really I really believe that my concern, we need to be in executive session. We're gonna be discussing some personnel and personal stuff. I don't think it should be public as now, but there is a concern. I've been out here for a long time. And I'd like to see, can we go in executive session at some point before we vote on Dave Eckers and discuss something very important.
Okay, any other question?
Well, I guess I'm trying to think like out of rank pay. And I don't know what the board's decision on trying to appoint a permanent chief and what that's going to look like. How important is it, since he's dealing just with the senior most, that we work a battalion chief out of rank, just as a battalion chief sitting in, and I know this is the same thing, I guess, interim without naming an interim. I do think it is important to start a process back, because that was one of the things that I thought was a great incentive as a worker in this department to promote within to the ranks of, since we don't have a way to promote vertically. And, you know, just putting ourselves in a position to succeed by, you know, that's a part of retention as well, as keeping promotion coming from inside. At this point, is he trained and qualified to sit in that position? He is.
Yes, he can do the position, you know, but it's gonna be some, until I sit in the seat, you know, it's gonna be a learning curve to be in there. It's more than that. So I can't say that I'm trained and qualified as well before I sat in the seat. When I came up from battalion chief, you know, to assistant chief, you know, that I can't say I was, but all three, you know, you have Matthews, you have Duran, and you have Anchor, and I know you know all of them. You know, they have to be in the role of battalion chief / assistant chief. You know, on weekends I'm not here. You know, if I have to go out of town, they have to do it. But to say, let them, somebody got to be the person, interim, and all due respect to this, somebody got to be a day-to-day person. You can't be a shift-to-shift person. That makes sense. You need one common denominator for the head of that department, sure. And you know, I'm willing to listen to all concerns, which is, that's a good concern. So, you know, out of rank pay, you know, that's something that you all want to discuss. I wanted to just make sure that since I'm living it, since I'm working with them, unless something that happened in 2 years, for 2 years, I wanted to make my honest recommendation, you know, to you all. And I will say this, you know, I haven't had anybody else come by the station since I've been there and said, hey, you know, this department is great. I would love to be a part of this department. I would love to support. How can I support? You know, so the ones that I've had has been there the whole time. You know, nobody else I can't recommend or say, hey, this person would be good. So I know those three and others within them. So that's my honest recommendation.
Another question? Is there any other recommendation?
Have we received any interest from outside?
I'm asking
Okay.
if that's what you desire, that would be our next step.
If you want us to advertise for an interim, what chief is recommending someone that
It could be the interim that he can train and continue to train while he's here.
until we can advertise for a permanent position.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd have to coordinate with HR, the process for the permanent chief, and make sure we have that taken care of. I know we would need an interim chief. You know, he's retiring March 31st, right? So I think it'd be appropriate tonight to discuss as per the agenda, the appointment of an interim. But as far as the search, we would need to make sure we do that. And that would include outside applicants, inside applicants, the whole, just like we did the police chief search.
There, Alderman Leonard, said that he would like, he said that Lee Vance is interested.
Now, back to Alderman Sir, Mr. Bradford's point. I mean, at some point, if as I said earlier, we have to stick with what's on this agenda. But if there is a motion in closed session to go into executive session to talk about this, you can do that, but it has to be limited to this topic.
And since Alderman Leonard can't hear, you want me to call him on the phone?
Well, you say it was interested in Lee Vance.
He was saying that, Alderman Lenham.
Haven't he been here before?
Yes,
Did he leave?
he retired, yes.
I've got you on speaker so they can hear you. Okay.
Certainly have no qualms with Battalion Chief Eaker, but I just, because the mayor had asked several times if we knew if anyone else was interested. I did hear from former Battalion Chief Lee Vance. He was also a former interim chief. He has an accounting degree, and he just told me he's interested. It's not going to be a big fight or anything like that. He said he would be willing to come back. That way we wouldn't have to deplete our current staff by, taking from within. Just something to think about, and wanted to make sure that you heard about it.
Thank you, Alderman Leonard.
The one thing we need to get some clarification on, as the chief mentioned, is under our civil service regs, he had indicated to me that had to be from within. Is that right, Chief? Is he understand talking to DC?
And again, Judge Alderman Leonard, did you hear that?
I'm sorry.
My understanding is that come from within department. Now you could advertise for a new chief outside, but the civil service group is that.
All right, so we did make the decision not to have the chief's position under civil service.
That's right.
That's right.
So that doesn't apply to the administrative side of this thing. It's just Eaker being raised to the administrative side?
Can we just keep this totally interim right now?
Okay,
Until we can get advertise and get a full-time fire chief.
Right.
This is only to keep it going until we get a full-time fire chief.
I believe it's important that we put somebody from within the ranks at this position, because if you don't, it's going to leave a bad taste in the firefighters. They're saying we don't have confidence in them. So I think we should continue the course we go on, and Mr. Vance would like to apply for chief. He'll have that opportunity.
Later on down the line.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel too. I trust Chief Davis' recommendation, and I don't believe he would leave us in a bad situation. I respect you for that, and I agree to your recommendation. But just interim, stay with me.
well, but it's interim.
Yeah,
For the end.
for the interim. Yeah, just stay with.
What we do want to do is choose the best candidates we can find
Right.
for the position.
On down the road.
And at the same time, the most qualified individuals, as far as being able to appoint somebody with at least matching your credentials, or just short of that. difficult to try to find somebody with all of the hats that you wear. So
I did say,
I'm gonna leave that alone.
so look for your admin assistant and inspector also. When you do that.
But we can't apply all of these things. We're trying to get somebody in, get pay scales up. And at the same time, we gotta have somebody matching the same qualifications and keeping things in place for you as well as replacement for you. So, you know, in a budget stance, we gotta be able to kind of balance a lot of things with nothing.
Let them know coming in.
Right. Yeah.
I just think we're gonna be short of the glory, losing you, but we got to go on. Hate to see you go. But just go in the right way.
I would hate for as you're departing, so I'm trying to get you to stay, would be to undermine you on the way out. So I'm in support of your recommendation for this interim position.
Chief Dave, what is it gonna do to the budget when we replace those two positions that you currently, how many positions you got? You the chief and what else?
You want to hear about them?
No, we ain't got all night to hear more. We know you qualify. But the two that we,
But you are gonna need an admin assistant.
mhm,
That's for day-to-day.
that's not in the current budget. Okay.
You also going to need, because I heard depleting the budget, depleting the staffing. The staffing is already depleted. But you need an admin assistant, you're gonna need an inspector / assistants. So that will be an office of 3 in the office there, just staff.
Let me ask you this, what we're gonna do about those positions until we get a full-time chief? Is David gonna be able to do all what you was doing?
No.
So who's gonna be the inspector?
They're company inspections. I had my own company inspection with inspectors with inspection tests. Company inspection, but that's why I do inspections.
Just let y'all know, I did check with HR. She responded back that Alderman DeBose was correct. Obviously, the appointment for the interim comes at the recommendation of the mayor to be voted on by the board. So, you know, that is not a requirement according to her of the interim to be necessarily within the department, but that's your recommendation. We're free to do that.
All right, Mr. Mayor, this is Alderman Chapman. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I just want to offer yes, sir. I just want to offer my appreciation to the chief for the service and the time that he's been with us, and also express my position is to accept, at least to recommend that we accept his recommendation, and thank you for that.
Thank you, Alderman Chapman. Alderman, you still here? Alderman,
He's present, but he's having some technical, oh, he's on the phone?
he's on this phone with Alderman, are you still there? Yeah, I hear you now, yeah. Are you hearing the conversation? Okay, all right.
Does anyone want to make any comments on?
Alderman Lennon recommendation? I hear most of you saying, take the recommendation.
So, Chief, I heard Alderman Chastain and Alderman Vatro and Wilson. Get clear on Alderman DuBose.
I'm with the recommendation.
Okay, and Alderman
I want us to have an executive session discussion, but. So with that being said, anyone want to make any comments on Alderman Lennon recommendation?
He said
Former Italian Chief Evans has expressed interest. Any comments? As interim, yeah. Any comments?
I was just gonna say that my point a while ago about the staff being already depleted is that we have at the end that we promote and we further already staff.
Could do, I think, at the point now, if we already want to have a motion to close session, terminate the executive session. If the mayor has done with this board, wanting to address items 2.23 and 2.4, before we make that motion, closed session, and that would be the last item on the agenda.
Yeah, I would prefer to do that.
So, okay, the mayor, as presiding officer of the board, it's point 2.3, to approve the final recommendation to terminate the firefighter as a new hire full-time firefighter, led by Jason E. Davis, vice chair.
Let's approve all and listen second on the death all in favor, say aye. Ayes have it.
2.4, approve the request to hire Sundar Floyd for full-time firefighter position submitted by Jason E. Davis, vice chair.
Motion to approve. Motion to approve.
Hold on. What'd you say, Chief? I would like to send that. Okay. So,
What change?
I want to send that because the delegate who's no longer interested in the job. That. That's, I think just to move, to table that, basically, end it.
That's the place that's even more now. All right, so we're down to discussion item with Alderman Bradford.
Yeah, if we're gonna go at this point, since we've finished through the regular items on the agenda.
No, we got one more.
Okay.
Well, there was a discussion item that made it. Alderman, big one.
It's related to the topics on the agenda. It's unrelated to the topics on the posted meeting for a special call meeting. You can't discuss it.
Sorry, Alderman.
But you can close section, terminate the section to address item 2.2.
And then there's a closed session to submit. First one, Wilson, and second by Alderman Dubus. Then we have a closed session, tell me if we got an item to go in the day. All the things that I said. Stay on phone,
I got you. Thank you.
I got a recommendation that I was just told that